you need a light. Something that will guide you forward and guide you all around life. Whether it's through a simple lighter into a candlestick match, all you need to get out of a rut is the simple idea of hope. Earlier today, I was discussing with one of my friends about the idea of ruts, something that I feel many of us are struggling with, especially if you wandered into this video. I guarantee though, by the end of this story that I'm going to discuss here, as well as the many complex webs we see throughout life as a whole, ruts will become a natural thing that many of us struggle with, but inevitably will challenge us and make us better people in the long run. Let's go back to that story with my friend. It was earlier today in which we were discussing ruts. We were talking about another friend of ours named Luke, and we mentioned the fact that he just sits and wallows on his phone. Picture him like this is his phone and this is what he does. He sits on it really crunched up in his bus seat. And now that may sound normal for many of you, but this is completely unnatural. Seeing someone in this position, all huddled up with their phone in their hand, is something that not only terrifies me, but it also worries me for the ages to come. This was today, but I've seen this instance every single time, no matter how far I go. And with my friend here, as much as we love to poke and make fun of him, there's something so cruel about being in a position where you're stuck on your phone. For the most part, this is where ruts tend to come from. It's a sapped sense of energy that, to many of us, we tend to ignore because it's natural. We see everyone around us looking down on their phone with their head slightly obtuse and their back just not in the right position. But if you want to live a healthier life and to be more stronger both mentally and physically, you need to know the truth. I hate the position you're in life. I hate you in the fact that you're not willing to change. I know that may sound hypocritical or downright mean, but by the end of this video, I'm going to teach you how to escape said rut without it being too much of a struggle. You see, many years ago, I've had a similar experience to a rut. This was me back in March of 2023, and I got through a huge, bad falling out with a friend. I wasn't happy. Neither was she, but we just weren't connecting as hard as we used to. We'll call her Avery. Avery was this kind and compassionate girl, but like many people we see in life, she's scrolling on her phone. But this was me in middle school. I had different beliefs and I had different values that I feel many of us would be outright challenged and grossed out by. It's a weird feeling to get across, especially in the topic of ruts. But with this friend of mine, I didn't know what else to say. She was going a different direction and I was too. By the end of the year, we simply stopped talking. But in March specifically, this moment where I lost my connection with this friend, I felt empty. I felt so empty that by the time spring break rolled around, I wallowed in bed and did the thing like many people nowadays. I grabbed onto my phone and started scrolling. But there's a reason why I make sure phones are away, especially from this video. I know that people tend to have a struggle, and that is with addictions. Addictions is one thing where many of us tend to just go towards because it's a hit. It gives us an illusion-based view of happiness. And that's what I want to talk about with ruts. Ruts are insanely hard to escape of. That moment in March is one of those where I think back to it and how much I could have changed so many different things. But I simply didn't. I didn't change at all, and it took a good while for me to change because as a human, I sucked. And like many of you here, maybe that's not what you want to hear, but this is what you need. You need to know that your position in life is absolute shit. It's horrendous. It is a bad position in life because you're wasting time, you're killing your energy, and you're not talking with anyone. For ruts, it tends to just be overwhelmed with too much work. And it tends to be overwhelmed with this idea that there's so much going on. We have a bad economy, a bad state of the world right now. So what's the point in being optimistic? And rather, we can choose the easy route, nihilism. That's the key I want to talk about. Nihilism and easiness. When we view the world in this manner that there's nothing to think about, nothing to care for. Our attention becomes decreased. Our attention for the world and our care for everything around us becomes less. The moment you lose your literal light is the moment things stop mattering. And that's the sad truth of being in a rut. For many of us, we don't know how to escape said rut. But I could just explain it in an easy manner that only takes 2 weeks. Start eating well, start writing well, and start exercising. The only way I escaped this rut in my March story wasn't an easy route. It was never an easy route. Nothing will ever be an easy route to get to the point now where I'm recording this video. And I'm forever grateful I went through that experience. As much as I lost such a kind and delicate friend, I found another friend in me. We could say all the bad things we want about ourselves, but the one thing that's true is that the universe, Lord, or whatever kind of thing you believe in, I personally believe in God, but whatever you believe in, will allow us to think more critical of everything around us. And that purpose, that sense of purpose for the world, gives us hope to be better and escape said rut. The action step I took to get out of this rut may be a little confusing. In the easiest way possible, yes, I ate well, I slept well, and I exercised. When we think of our health, we tend to care about ourselves. We care about someone who deep down needs the support, and we can't take care of anyone else without the need for ourselves. I was watching this video by Brandon Clark, an excellent video talking about the introspections of introverts and extroverts. And while I love the terms for each, human beings and people as a whole are more complex than that. Introverts aren't just someone who gain energy by themselves. Same with extroverts. We all need to spend a little bit of alone time with ourselves. But when I mean alone, I mean figuratively. You need to be alone with yourself to understand your ideas. But don't let this be something that takes up your time forever. We still suggest you socialize. That's the point of this channel, for me to delicately talk about my stories and how I am able to gain so much attraction, to gain so much connections, all because of the hope I have inside myself. And that's what I want to start off with, the roots. The root of your problems comes from the rut you are situated in. If it is one of these 3 things, you have a terrible shit diet, you can't stop scrolling and unable to sleep, or you just do bad habits like watching porn or watching something that's not helping you. All 3 of these are effective in how well we go about life. And that's why I feel these 3 are the single most important areas to focus on, especially when you end up in a rut. Understand that this will be painful. There's a weird experience that comes when you notice that things are painful. It becomes special. It becomes like a light. A light, like a fire, burns for however long it takes. It will continue to sap its energy no matter how long I hold it up. Eventually, it turns and tosses and will continue to fall apart the moment you stop caring. And that's what happens when you're in a rut. When you stop caring about the fire, the more these vices start coming up and taking you over. Shit food, bad sleep, not exercising, porn, and not talking with anyone will demonstrate a sense of figurative change in you. And this change will make dopamine hits all the higher, sort of like drugs. These addictions, these vices will challenge us and make us worse people in the long run. But once again, you come to this video in the need of support to escape said ruts and be better humans within society and to be able to achieve a goal. So let's think about it in a more literal way. What's your purpose? It doesn't have to be something too crazy, but what do you value the most with the world that will not only make you monetary gains, but will also impact these 3 areas of eating well, sleeping well, and exercising? For me, it's making these videos and reading books. I love to write books, and on my main channel, I talk about how well I can make books for everyone, everywhere. And I want to use this information to make stronger men in particular, since I feel like the age of masculinity and femininity is so ignored, and it's silenced in a manner that feels wrong. We need to address the problem. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything with this video, but I am going to note that your rut is determined by your purpose. And similar to me, you want to be someone who's able to make these videos, to tell better stories, and to be more influential in the fact that for our world today, we know there is problems. We don't live blind, we don't see blind, and we don't hear blind. We demonstrate that there's problems in the world within ourselves, and we can't change that unless we get onto this path of self-improvement. Now, ruts are one where I feel that many of us need to stick together with. What I mean is, for ruts, we need to be socially adaptable. We need to be coherent with our thoughts, and that comes with the work in ourselves. Don't treat this video as if to avoid everyone. What I'm trying to tell you here is to stay consistent in these 3 areas. If you can't think of a purpose, think of just what to eat today. Think of when to sleep today. And think about what kind of exercise or movement you want to do. If it's a simple walk, apple, or even just going to bed by 9, everything starts to fall into place. And in that month of March, I felt it in my heart. I felt that the moment I started treating my life as equal as everyone else's around me, the better I escape this rut. You will inevitably fall back. There are some times where, as you can see with the dates on this channel, I didn't record any videos. But with my mission, not only be better as individuals, but to also communicate ideas better with others, then you will escape the problems at hand. Remember to think of these big 3. Think of this big 3 every single day, because this will be the most important, including exercise. Do not avoid exercise because the world makes it so easy and so fashionable to not do that. That's shit advice. Go out, go for a walk, go for a run, and look into the best experts. I built a pretty strong sleeper build, as my friends call, but I've also understood that there's times in which I just need to work out more. And that's what I want for you. Whenever there is a rut, we don't think of ruts as inescapable problems. We need to think of ruts as challenges we need to overcome. It's a rut. It's like a pile on top of one another. But you can always have the power to jump even higher than where you were last time. Select a line, continue going up. And when you think of this purpose, you will find more people in your life, people will attract to you better, and the love you've given will inspire hope to the world you live in. I hope you can enjoy today's message. While it's a rather simple concept, it's one that I feel super passionate about. After this video, check out how to communicate with people better, because in this process of getting better as oneself, you need to know how to communicate with others. So click this video at the top as you see, and until next time, keep on working, keep on talking, and take care.